you gonna get into it. You're gonna have to have the tough conversations. You gonna have to address some things. You're gonna have to be humbled a few times. You're going to find points of conflict, but the key is that it leads you closer to the other person. Hey, y'all, and welcome to Let's Talk Sis. I'm Shekinah, your host, and as we spend time together, I can promise you three things. I'll be honest, I'll make you laugh, and I won't hold back. Let's Talk Sis is your essential girl talk destination where you'll hear about life from the perspective of a Black woman in America, as our stories often go untold. I can assure you, while honest, we are a community for growth and love. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and let's talk, sis. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Let's Talk Sis. This is a safe space for Black women who are deeply emotional, have not felt seen, heard, or valued. We have room for you here, okay? I am your host, Shekinah, and if you're new here, I'm telling you now, this is one of my favorite places to be, and soon to be yours as well. Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in. Now, if this is your first time seeing this episode, I greatly appreciate that, but you have missed out on an entire pre show experience, okay? We record Let's Talk Sis live every Friday, down to the YouTube, down to the TikTok, and it is a sisterhood, okay? We are chatting, we are dancing, we are figuring out technical things, okay? This production, if you didn't know, I know it looks so good. I know it's like, how could it possibly only be a one person show? It is. I lied. It's a two-woman show because I have an editor. Shout out to Jada. Jada, put something fancy in here for you right here. Okay. Shout out to you, girl. But this part right here, the streaming, the production of the show, the set, the lighting, okay, the audio, it's all on your girl. And soon I'll have a production team, but the sisterhood is that team in the meantime, okay? They help me check my audio. They let me know if my mics are working. Okay, they let me know the team. So if you want to join and be a part of the sisterhood, come on down. We would love to have you. My friend is reminding me that I've been needing to say this. Okay, my emoji is the purple heart and the gold sparkle. Okay, so to show me some love, to show me that you're here, just drop some of those in the chat, even if you don't know what to say. Just drop a little purple heart or a gold star because a sparkle star is a difference. I put them here for reference. Okay, let me know you're listening because I just want to know, who's out there, who is paying attention, who's hearing these conversations, and who's, hearing the things. Okay. Speaking of who's out there, I'm gonna give y'all a little community update. So a few podcasts ago, I told y'all that I basically had not been uploading the audio podcast as I should. So we had the opportunity. You see how you reframe that? We had the opportunity for a 10 episode binge, and there were about 20 of y'all who actually binged all those episodes. So that's a lot of talking, sis. That's a lot of talking. But I greatly appreciate y'all for listening. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to my audio listeners because I'm sure that's a totally different experience. And if you want to come see what we looking like, there's video of differently. So thank y'all for listening. Comment, let me know, what you found interesting, what was just what stood out to you. I want to know. I want us to engage more as a community, okay? This is a platform for all of us, okay? All right. Also on the update tip, there are a few more of you who have joined. The last time we did a YouTube following update, we had 87 followers. We are now at 92. Hey, woo, 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 woo. Hey, y'all, welcome. When you get a chance, just leave a comment. Let me know what made you join. What brought you on over here into this sisterhood? Okay. I want to know. I want to see you. Hey, thank you. I love you. And the last update I will give you is we are now at 78 episodes. Okay. 78 episodes. All right. That's a lot. Now, all I know is I am proud of myself for showing up consistently. I should have done the math. I want to say about 30 something of those episodes are this year alone. My goal at the top of the year, I said it to y'all. I am coming with new episodes every single week this year. Okay. And so far, so good. I've been here. Okay, they might have got posted late, but we were in the studio. We recorded it. We did the things. Okay, so soon it'll be 100 episodes and 200 episodes, and then I don't know. We're going upwards and onwards. So shout out to y'all for showing up, encouraging me every week to come back and give y'all some new material because when you're talking on this mic and you're in this room by yourself looking at a ring light or looking at a camera, it's hard to imagine that there are actually going to be other people who are going to go to your podcast, press play, and actually listen to what you have to say. Okay. And not only once, not only twice, but 78 episodes worth of engagement and listening. So thank y'all. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. And whether it's 2 of y'all, 20 of y'all, or 20 million, I just am grateful that somebody decided to listen. So if you are a faithful listener or you just joined the Let's Talk Sis community, again, I want to hear from you. You can write in, you can ask me questions, you can post topic suggestions, send me a funny video, but either way, send me an email to the Let's Talk Sis podcast at gmail.com. Again, that is the Let's Talk Sis Let's Talk Sis pod at gmail.com. Okay, send them over. I want to hear from you. Okay. All right. So with that being said, we are going to move into our timeline topic of the week. Okay. Now, if you're anything like me, you like a little practicality with your spirituality. Okay. So, a friend of mine sent me this and it really, really, really hit home. So, I would be remiss not to share it with you. Okay. So, here we go.
I think I'm the only one that's never heard this. Your intuition speaks in statements. Your anxiety speaks in questions. That is damn good. Wow. I like that a lot.
It is pretty darn good. Okay. I heard that and immediately, it immediately resonated with me because it's exactly right. When you, and unfortunately, when you are listening to your intuition, somebody running in chat, amen, hallelujah, praise, break. When you hear your intuition and it says that person ain't no good for you, unfortunately, we follow it with questions. We follow it with, but are you sure? Well, they did say, but they told me, and they did. We question it, right? We question the intuition. Question the intuition, but the anxiety that's like, well, do they love me? Are they there for me? Are they actually showing up? That's what we act on. We act on that, so then we act out. Now we're accusing people, and now we're making demands of people because that anxiety, those questions, cause us to take action. And what hearing that activated for me is to explore it a little bit more. Am I taking this action from an anxious place or an intuitive place? Am I taking this action because I am questioning the validity or the value or the worth of something? Or am I taking this action because I know it is what is good for me? Because I know it is what's necessary for me, right? Is that what is causing me to move in this way, to behave in this way? And I think having those containers to put these thought processes in is so valuable. I was just speaking with this same friend about how important having certain language is to be able to even describe what you're going through or what you're feeling, it how healing it is to have the language to express, to process, to deal with certain things. And so for me, having these two containers around intuition speaks in statements. There's a certain knowing, there's a certain confidence, even if it's quiet, even if you hear it way, 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 way back in the back part of your head, there's a certain assertion that intuition takes, right? This is not good. This is good. This is not joy. This is joy. This is not safe. This is safe. Whatever, however, it's a statement versus this anxiety. There's so much uncertainty there. There's so much questions and not all anxiety is bad, right? Sometimes, well, maybe it is bad. Maybe the right word is not anxiety, but not all questioning is bad, right? Not all investigating is bad. But when it's causing a whirlwind of confusion, a whirlwind of uncertainty, a whirlwind of instability that is now the reason you're acting this way, that's not a healthy place to make decisions from. And we have to be keen in hearing both containers. I need to know if this is anxiety or intuition. If it's anxiety, fine. What are the questions? What are the wonderings? What is the uncertainty? And how do I find clarity in those things, as opposed to allowing that to taint my behavior, to taint my beliefs of myself, of these other people that are in my life, of this certain situation, right? Does he love me? Well, are you asking that question because his actions actually showed that he doesn't love you? Are you asking that question because of some insecurity you haven't dealt with? Are you asking that question because you don't know what love actually looks like? Like, explore that a little bit before you, well, you don't even love me because of the, well, if you love me, but right? Or is it your intuition? That man don't love you. That man do not love you. But your past, well, he only yells at me if he's upset because he's only acting that way because he really does love me, right? You're convincing now yourself against your intuition. So I just found that extremely powerful. Um, and I wanted to share, like I said, this is a sisterhood. We are not perfect. As somebody who is extremely emotionally in tuned, it is easy for me to act out of anxiety because I feel it so deeply. I feel these wonderings. And because I also am someone who relies on my feelings to make decisions, I sometimes can feel like, well, because I'm feeling this anxiety so deep, I have to act, I have to blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I just need to go blow some bubbles or dance because I might be tripping. And I have to know, well, which container is this thought, is this feeling coming from? My girl Angela in the comments says it can come from fear, from different life experiences and all kinds of things, right? Our life experiences very much influence how our intuition sounds and how our anxiety sounds. For some of us, that intuition is loud, it's strong, it's right in front of us, right? Again, some of us, it's very quiet, it's suppressed, it's in the corner. And that anxiety is loud and leading and in charge of all of your decisions. And where do we find that balance, right? Where do we find the proper outlets to manage and deal with both of those ideas? So I just wanted to share that, and hopefully it blessed your child. Okay. So with that being said, I want to move into our let's talk topic of the week. Okay. This one is a little bit different than what we've been talking about in the past few weeks. The past few weeks, we've been talking about my 10 commandments and how I want to show up in relationships. But today, I want to talk about, excuse me, I want to talk about signs of a healthy relationship. We get on social media all the time and we see red flag, red flag, red flag, pop the balloon, pop the balloon. We see all these examples of what they say not to do, right? What they say are red flags. And I often say this to my friends that are single, they're seeing what is online and being discouraged. And I often say, the good men, they're not online and in nobody's comments. You wouldn't see them engaging in this uh red pill behavior, these red pill conversations. You're not gonna find them in those spaces in a man, because that's not where we find the good ones. Okay. But primarily, I want to also speak to anybody who's in newer relationships or maybe younger or whatever, about some green flags in relationships that don't always feel like it. Okay. And these are my opinion. This is for me, honey. Feel free to disagree in the comments. Okay. But keep it cute. All right. So the first one is conflict leads to connection. A lot of people can feel like when you find your perfect one, that there's never going to be conflict, that you're not going to argue, they're going to know you like the back of their hand, and they're going to know that they shouldn't have or should have said it like this or that. And baby, that's not true. Okay. You going to get into it. You're going to have the tough conversations. You going to have to address some things. You're gonna have to be humbled a few times. You're going to find points of conflict, but the key is that it leads you closer to the other person. On the other side of the conflict is growth, is connection, is intimacy, right? On the other side is not toxic. It's not blaming behavior. It's not disrespect. And that is not to say that the conflict is a perfect argument and we were so respectful and so above board and nobody raised their voices and everyone was just so diplomatic and very demure. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. Y'all might get into it. Y'all might not speak for a couple days, and that's a whole nother thing. We talk about that later. But my point is, on the other side of it, you have another understanding of each other. You have a deeper knowing of who this person is and who this person is not. You also have this realization of expectations that are valid and that are not valid, right? You might get into it with your partner all the time about taking out the trash, right? It might be the accent, yes. Sorry. It might be that you constantly have to ask your person, can you take out the trash? Can you take out the trash? Y'all might get into it, and at the other end of it, you might realize this man is never going to voluntarily take out the trash. That might be the conclusion. And a lot of times those realizations can be so freeing, because now either you decide, can you deal with it or not? And if you can, what can do we set an alarm? Is there a reminder on the calendar? Is there, a bell I can ring? What are now the solutions to manage this new expectation that I have of this person? This person has told me they are not going to be the guy who voluntarily takes out the trash. They need a reminder. So instead of me being pissed about the fact that they don't do it on their own, I get to now decide and have a real view of who they are, and can I manage it? Is this acceptable or not? For some people, that could be a deal breaker. I can't be with a man who don't know how to take the trash out on his own. But for some people, okay, I can remind him, and I can know now before it gets to the point where I'm upset to say something to him, because when I ask him, he actually does do it. It's just he don't do it on his own, right? So now we can fairly manage our expectation. That conflict has now led to connection, as opposed to, oh, you just a sorry da 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 da, and you don't never do nothing for the family, and you lazy, and you this, and all the name calling. That's toxic. He's told you who he is. She's told you what she is. She's not cooking every day when you come home. She could cook 2, 3 days a week, but every day when she come home, she's not finna be in that kitchen and have a hot meal for you. So now you can get into it. This is what my mama did. This is what my grandma did. This is how they were. Now you can say, hey, do I want to deal with that? Can I manage that? Right? Or do I need to order Uber Eats before I leave work so we got food at home? Do I need to pay for a chef service or whatever, it might be? These conflicts lead to connection. That's a healthy relationship. Can you deal with the person's imperfections slash things you might not like? Yes, I will. Number two, I'm gonna get to that, Angela. I'm gonna get to that. Number two is that you change, but for the better. So a lot of times we get into this relationship and we think that, this person is going to accept me just as I am 100%. I don't ever have to do anything different because they love me for me and for me. And that might be great. That generally is the case, right? Generally that is the case. If you're an outgoing person, they better expect you to always be outgoing, right? If you're an introvert, you're probably always going to be an introvert. But there are changes that happen with you in a relate. If you are someone like me who's very passionate, who's easy to raise your voice in an argument, and you go, oh well, that motherfucker just he know I'm like this. He know I yell. He know I raise my voice. He know I get loud. That is not a healthy mindset because I can change, I can manage my tone, right? And it's for the better. It actually makes me a better communicator. It actually allows me to be less uh um emotional in a situation and more effective, right? It actually allows me to neutralize a situation. And listen, honey, I'm not perfect at that. I'm working on that to this day. But that change in me sometimes is like frustrating because why can't you just understand that this is how I talk? Why can't you just understand that this is how I am? And again, there are the deep core level things to us that will always be the same. But there are opportunities to improve for the better. I have a water bottle sitting right in front of me. I was not a water drinking girl. Like I drank water, but it was not something, like I said, where I keeps the water on me. I am that way to this day because of that man. And I could, you always trying to get me to drink water. I just want some juice. I'm grown. I can make my own decisions, right? I don't have to this, I don't have to that, but I can change for the better, right? I can change for the better. Again, I want to emphasize for the better, because also we get into relationships and people want to change things about us, but it's those core things. You talk too much. You always happy. You always smiling. Those are core beings of who I am, honey. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm jovial. So now you want me to be miserable and sad, and we find ourselves shrinking. Speaking from experience. So again, these are signs of a healthy relationship that may not always feel like it. Drink that water, sis. Lower that tone, boo. You know, uh, uh, um, be a little softer in your words. You don't always have to cut so deep. Yeah, you might feel that way, but can we write it out before we say it so that we are getting to the core of the matter? All these things. Now, number three, to the point of my girl Angela about, can you detail or talk about the things that you may not like about a person? Okay, it's kind of to my next point. Your patience is tested but not tempted. What does that mean? You may have a certain tendency about you, for example, the trash, that I don't like. I don't like necessarily that in conflict you need 2 3 hours to process something before you can come back and talk. I don't like that, but it requires me to be patient, and I have to give you room still to be who you are. You're not um uh taking this time before we readdress something to be spiteful. You're taking this time before we readdress something to calm your nervous system, gather your thoughts, process what you want to say, and say what you need to say intentionally. That tests my patience because I have to be patient and I have to allow that space for for a more positive interaction. Tempting my patience means you trying. You're being intentionally whatever to try me, to push me, to want to get me over the edge. Your patience will be tested because they are not you. They not gonna know that you want the napkins folded over to the left side every single time, and they're probably their inclination is not to fold the napkins. So that might mean either having patience with explaining it to them, either having patience with understanding. That might just be your job, sis. But you not finna try me and ball up the napkins and throw them in the middle of the thing and say, now what? Right? Out of an intentional like spite, out of a way to like push me to the edge. You might there's so many like examples. They the classic one is like the toothpaste and how you push from the bottom and he pushed from the top or in the middle and grab it just like a man and you, right? Whereas we like to be real cute, demure, and buy two different toothpaste. Period. Just do it, right? But that might test your patience, right? But there are solutions to it. These are the workarounds in relationships, if you will. These are the things that okay, I'll probably want to did it that way. Or hey, babe, this is a more efficient way to do it. Can I show you? Like, or whatever. You get what I'm saying? But you will have to practice patience in a relationship. That woman is gonna get on your nerve. Okay. But there's a difference between them trying you at an intentional heart level, right? And them just being different than you, them just having a different set of eyes on the situation, a different means about finding the solution. And it doesn't mean they're necessarily wrong, right? It does not mean our personal example for my life getting out the door. When I say I'm ready, it means something different than when Daniel says he's ready. When I'm ready, I literally have my bag, my shoes, my coat, my keys, everything in my hand. Him, it typically means he got to go get his bag, his shoes, his coat, his keys, and everything to walk out the door. So that tests my patience because we just talked about it last time. I'm very much on time. And not to say he be late. He just, again, his method in getting to the car might be like this, whereas mine is like this. We still got to the car. I just had to be a little more patient. Okay. Number four, number five, excuse me. There's effort and intention, right? To the previous point, we aren't perfect. We on each other's nerves. We will be, we will have these moments of conflict. We will have these moments of change, but there's effort. There's effort there, and you're not perfect. It ain't gonna happen overnight. He's not. They are not going to magically become the most perfect human being or ever become the most perfect partner in the world, right? But they're gonna try. They're going to show up to the court with you, and they're going to try, and they're going to be intentional. They might get it wrong, and only you can decide, your tolerance for how many wrongs versus rights and all of that. But there's an effort. You see them in this game with you. You see them. All right, let me do this. All right, let me go. All right, let me show up in X, Y, and Z kind of way. And last but not least, which is my favorite one, is that you are refined in a relationship. And to refine something means to free it from impurities. Or another definition is to reduce vigor or intensity. Another definition, my favorite, is to improve or perfect by pruning or polishing. And what that means to me is you're going to go through some things with your partner, but those things are to make you better. Those things, whether it's their mannerisms, their ways, their natural being, them in your life should refine you. It should perfect you by pruning or by polishing. They may tell you some things you don't necessarily like, but it's going to make you better. It's going to remove those impurities, those things that are not, they should help sometimes you to see the best ways about you, the things, the heights that you didn't even think you could reach. I never thought I would start my own business. But here I am in the thick of it, and I'm like, oh shit, I could actually do this thing. I would have never thought in that color had it not been for Daniel, right? I would have not had the confidence to set certain boundaries in my life had it not been for him. And I'm not saying you should expect your partner to be this savior and, make you automatically better, but they damn sure should not be making you worse. Again, signs of a healthy relationship. Okay. This person's commentary, this person's compliments, this person's criticism, this person's character make you better in some ways. They improve you, they elevate you in a way that maybe may not to say without them maybe you couldn't have gotten there, but you damn sure can give them some of the credit for it, right? So that's my 2 cents on that, and I would love to hear some other things that you guys think are green flags of healthy relationships, even though they may not always feel like it, because I think it's so important to have this conversation again, because we get on social media and we'll see all the red flags. We'll see people talking about all the traumas and all the bad things that they had to go through, but it's rare, more on the rare side to see, people speaking on positive relationship challenges again that are for the better. It's not all hunky dory and roses. It is sometimes roses and butterflies and this magical special bond, between you and somebody else who's on the same wavelength as you, who wants the same things as you, who is uh goal oriented in the same arenas that you are. All of those things are the magic and the positive sides to a relationship. But in that positive, if there's like a spectrum, right, just left of that or right of that positivity, there's some refinement there. There's some challenges that ultimately should make you better or more aware or whatever have you. And I would love to hear from you guys' experiences, what those would be. So before we go, I started this a while ago and I'm definitely going to bring it back. I want to start back our conversation challenge. Okay. This is called Let's Talk Sis, in part because I understand the value of having these conversations with yourself, with other women in your community, and just hearing the perspectives that other people have. A lot of times, oftentimes through that, we realize we are not alone. We are not the only ones, and there are other people who can pour into us. So, this week, I want to challenge you guys to ask yourself and the women in your community, what do you need in a relationship to make you feel safe? Okay. I have told y'all about the life coaching program, Discover Your Destiny, that I've gone through. And this question she asked me is something I had never really thought about. What are the things in a relationship that you require for it to be deemed safe? Is it the way that they empathize? Is it a certain level of humor? Is it a certain level of vulnerability? But I encourage you to maybe write them down, leave them in the comments, or again, just talk with other people. Ask them what are some things that help them to feel safe and report back. Let them know what you found out, what you're thinking. I would love, love, love to hear from you all. Okay. Okay. Well, That's all we got today, sister. Okay. This episode flew by, but I hope you guys got something out of it. We are here every single week. Episodes drop on Monday, but again, you can join the sisterhood live on Fridays at 2 o'clock. We do a little dance party, we do a little production party, and then we do a little podcasting. Okay. So I would love to have you. And I'm about to hang out with the sisterhood just a little bit longer, but I will see y'all right back here next week. Love you. Bye.